I am very delighted to join you at the climax of these celebrations to mark a century of technical and vocational education and training in Kenya. As you may recall, I launched the celebration on 26 March this year, after which the TVET at 100 torch has traveled throughout Kenya, traversing every county in every part of our republic. As it returns to the host institution, the Flame's journey through our country has shown us there is much to celebrate in the history of TVET in Kenya. From the initial government African school in Machakos, which existed informally, the first formal TVET institute was established here in Kabete in 1924. And we couldn't have celebrated 100 years of TVET in a better place than in this Kabete Institute. Our bottom-up economic transformation agenda also ignited tremendous momentum in job creation, opening up thousands of lucrative opportunities in the technical and vocational fields in our priority strategic pillars of affordable housing, universal health coverage, digital economy, and agro-industrial production, and throughout every other sector, locally and abroad. At the same time, reforms in our education sector, both in the competence-based curriculum and training and in the transformation of higher education funding model, have promoted relevance, skills, and competitiveness, and also inclusivity. We are also intentional about developing and providing high-quality human resource to support TVET. Humanity is now irrevocably plunged into the future of immense threats and crises that can only be surmounted by sustainable innovation and effective technology deployment against every risk and every challenge. The government is determined to ensure that Kenya is not left behind and that our young people remain at the forefront of global industrial and technical progress. Our education system has never been more essential, and TVET in particular is now a focal sector which must receive our full attention because we cannot afford to get it wrong. We must remember that our freedom struggle remains incomplete, and the attainment of inclusive growth and broad-based prosperity is our best way of winning freedom from hunger, disease, and want. Therefore, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, and our Vision 2030 depend on our capacity to catalyze national transformation in a manner set out in the bottom-up transformation agenda. In other words, the freedom struggle of our time calls for a skills revolution driven by science, technology, and innovation. I am also very happy that the ministry is running with the implementation of the National TVET Blueprint 2020 to 2030. And that whole space where we are developing and implementing a dual training policy, which involves industry players in the training process. In fact, this morning, I listened to Kevin, one of the students who was taking us through a presentation. And Kevin told me that we need to balance between the training that we have in college and the opportunity we have to work in industry. And I think he was speaking to the policy of dual training. And therefore, if you wanted any validation that dual training is the way to go, I think even the students in these colleges are speaking the same language with us, that we need to do more to make sure that we connect what happens in class, what happens in our laboratories, what happens in our workshops, and what happens in industry. And that is the way to the future. And I want to encourage principals, and I want to encourage the ministry to work with industry. And I'm very happy with the partnership that has already been fashioned between the ministry and industry and our training colleges to provide opportunities for young people from these institutions to be able to be trained and to acquire the skills necessary for them to be job ready when they get out of college. Another principle that has enabled us achieve such and much in transforming our TVET system is partnership. We have benefited greatly from the goodwill of generous friends, including TVET Technical Working Group, the United Nations Habitat, the International Labour Organization, World Bank, GIZ, Colleges Institute Canada, China, and Finland. We are grateful for their support and for this historic transformation that we have achieved together. I urge young people, especially graduates, from our tertiary institutions to pay close attention to the unfolding opportunities that have been unlocked through our overseas employment opportunities strategy and bilateral labor agreements with various governments. I think you've just heard a testimony from the ambassador of Germany that in September this year, we will be signing the first ever bilateral labor and migration agreement between Germany and any other country. And that will unlock huge opportunities for our young people to get jobs in different parts of Germany and also give ourselves an opportunity to work with other countries. The State Department of Diaspora Affairs is spearheading the Kazi Maju program, and the National Employment Agency maintains an up-to-date database on available opportunities. I encourage you to look up your opportunity and get ready to work your way to success, either in Kenya or outside Kenya. Let me also say the following, because we need to categorically state what we are doing to be able to provide more opportunities, especially for those who have acquired skills, who have competencies from our colleges, from our universities. We must supply our labor market with skilled and innovative human capital in order to unlock the vast opportunities in key sectors such as agriculture, the blue economy, renewable energy, manufacturing, infrastructure development, mining, housing, and climate action. For these reasons, we continue to drive the transformation of TVET system by implementing important reforms and developments, including, I already issued instructions that the development, education, and training curriculum, assessment and certification council, SIDAC, be reinstated and takes over the role of examining our students, providing exams for our students, because it is the qualified body for it to make sure that our trainers are assessed on skills acquired and competencies achieved rather than on stories told. I think that that's really the basic tenet of why we pushed for TVET. I also must say that I am very proud of what we have decided on recognition of prior learning. It is an important tool of getting more people to be certified, especially when they have skills, especially when they have acquired those skills over time. And there's need for a framework, and I'm very happy that many institutions around Kenya, many TVET institutions, are now implementing that program on recognition of prior learning as a government policy that then gives opportunity to many people to be certified and for them to be able to have the requisite papers to be able to further their careers. I'm very also happy that we have upgraded 13 technical training institutes and colleges to national polytechnics to give them also opportunity to be able to offer education at a higher level and to support the others for us to move forward. 10 years ago, in fact in 2013, we had only 89,000 students in our TVET institutions. Today, we have close to 700,000 students in our TVET institutions. It has grown almost tenfold, and it speaks to the possibilities that TVET is offering to many young people across Kenya. I remember when I was Minister for Higher Education and I was pushing for TVET, there was a lot of pushback then that formal education was much more superior to TVET education. Today, I think we have equalized the fortunes of all Kenyans. The choices are now as open as they can get. You have students joining either TVET or university equally, and they can sample opportunities also equally. And therefore, I am very proud of the journey that TVET has made, especially in the last 10 years. On the funding model, we are working to make sure that especially children from vulnerable families are not left behind. It is very important that we leave nobody behind in this training and in this program and in providing education. We have doubled the budget for training in TVET and in our universities, deliberately, because we want to give every child in Kenya an opportunity to learn. I know that there has been a bit of confusion, and I have asked the ministry to clarify that some of the letters sent to parents may indicate 200,000, 300,000, but that is not what a parent is expected to pay. That is the cost of the course. The government is going to make scholarship, it's going to make loan available, depending on the financial ability of parents or guardians or sponsors of students, so that we make it possible for government to support as many students as possible, and also make it possible for government to support students from vulnerable families to the highest level possible. I also want to ask members of parliament to work with us on this program so that we can get the correct message out there that our intention is to make sure that our institutions have the requisite resources to run courses. I think in the past, TVET institutions, managers of our TVET institutions, managers of our universities were struggling because while government committed so much money, they delivered half or sometimes less than half, and therefore it became difficult for the training to go on.